Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmadgurubhyo Namaha Shrutismritipurananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishwaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Namaste once again, everyone. Jnanena ajnana karyasya samulasya layo yadi tishtatyayam katham deha iti shankavato jadan samadhatum bahya drishtya prarabdham vadati shrutihi. So, we are wading through a very advanced and difficult part of Vedantic teaching. In fact, it is the culmination of the entire teaching. The final message of the Upanishads, which is Advaitam, non-duality, cannot be established unless the reality of the entire universe, the entire creation, is negated as mithya. Because if you take everything real, Brahman as real, universe as real, you cannot establish Advaita, which is not the message of the teaching, not the message of the Upanishads. So Vedanta follows a process. And this process starts with three entities: Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara. In the first stage, Jagat and Ishvara is equated by saying that Ishvara is the Karanam and the cause, that is Karanam, the cause, and Jagat is the Karyam, the product. And the essence of the product cannot be different from the essence of the cause, which is an established fact. For example, the essence of golden ornaments cannot be different from the cause, which is gold. Similarly, the essence of wooden furniture cannot be different from the essence of wood. Water, you take the essence of wave, essence of an ocean cannot be different from the essence of water. Therefore, the Jagat, which is the Karyam, is essentially Ishvara. Jagat does not exist apart from Ishvara. So with this process, once we understand this, then the three entities are reduced to two. because Jagat and Ishvara have now become synonymous. So we are left with now Jiva and Ishvara. And in the first stage, from plurality, we arrive at duality. The entire plural Jagat is reduced to one entity, Ishvara. So we now have got two entities, Jiva and Ishvara. Then what happens? Then the Upanishads bring in the Mahavakyam, Tattvamasi, the great Vedantic equation. Tat is equal to Tvam. Tat Ishvara Tvamasi. That Ishvara you are, thus completing the equation. And this is expressed in the phrase Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. So Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. So the Jiva also is now merged, or it is now identity of the Jiva is now combined with the identity of Brahman. Therefore, Ishvara, which is essentially Brahman, and Jiva, which is also essentially Brahman, they are combined, they are identified as one. So the two entities, Jiva and Ishvara, are reduced to one Brahman. And therefore, there is only Brahman, or we can say there is only Ishvara or God. Nothing exists other than Ishvara or God. And therefore, as Pujya Swamiji says, where every religion they profess, there is one God. That's what they say, isn't it? God is one. Pujya Swamiji used to say that is a partially correct statement. The full correct statement is there is only God, nothing else is there. There is only Ishvara, only Brahman exists. Everything else is an appearance which has no reality, which has no independent existence. So everything else is mithya. Thus, the entire universe is reduced to one non-dual Brahman. And that is how Advaitam is established. But as we were discussing in the last class, here Vedanta runs into a very big problem. It is a practical problem. Because the Upanishads talk about creation of the universe, the process of creation, sustenance and dissolution of the universe, etc. All these are talked about as though universally exists. So on the one hand, you say that the universe is mithya, on the other hand, you talk about creation, sustenance, dissolution, etc. And that is why the non-Advaitins, including Visishta Advaita, they challenge the non-dual theory and ask, if as you say, O Advaitins, if the creation is only mithya and appearance, how do you explain Veda talking about the origination of the world, Veda talking about the origination of this body, mind, sense complex? Taitra Upanishad says, Tasmad eva etasmat atmana akashah sambhutah. Then it goes on saying how each stage, then it says, Oshadibhyo annam annat purushah. So how the human, Purusha here means Deha, our body. How our body has eventually evolved starting from the creation of the universe. So the Upanishads talk about the origination of the body also. So these non-Advaitins ask, do you mean to say that Veda is making false statements? Veda is also ignorant? Or Veda is confused? And if so, how dare you say that? We all accept Vedas as the most sacred text, most sacred knowledge. How dare you say that Veda is ignorant, Veda is talking about all false things? They pounce upon the Advaitin. And we in reply say that, no, no, you have misunderstood. Veda is not confused. You are confused. The student is confused. And because of that, Veda comes down to the confusion level of the student and temporarily validates his perception. And since it's a temporary teaching, we should take it only as, we should not accept it as the final Vedic teaching, but a intermediary teaching of the Vedas. The ultimate Vedic teaching is Neha Nanasti Kinchana. Kathopanishad says. Na iha nana asti. There is no plurality, there is no duality. And even if when we refer to Kaivalya Upanishad, and that's a very good example, within the same chapter, first Kaivalya Upanishad talks about Srishti, creation. It says, 15th shloka, it says, Etasmat jayate pranah manas sarvendriyani cha kham vayur jyotirapascha prithvi vishwasya dharini. So, from Brahman, etasmat jayate pranah manah sarva indriyani, everything it says, 15th shloka. So, everything talks about the whole Srishti creation. Then, after talking about this Panchabhuta Srishti, in 4 slokas later, in the 19th sloka, the Upanishad says, Mayeva Sakalam Jatam Mayi Sarvam Pratishtitam Mayi Sarvam Layam Yati Tad Brahma Advayam Asmi Aham. So suddenly, after talking about creation, it says Etasmat Jayate. So from this, the whole universe has come. Now, question is, what is this that the Upanishad is referring to? It says, Mayeva Sakalam, it is me. From me only the entire universe is created. In me only the whole universe is sustained. And the whole universe resolved in me alone. And who am I? I am Brahman Advayam. I am the Advaita Brahman, non-dual Brahman. Means what? Only I exist. Then it goes on to say in the 22nd shloka, Na punya pape mama nasti nasho na janma dehendriya buddhi rasti. I don't have any punya papa. I don't have any destruction. I don't have any birth. I don't have all this deha, indriya, buddhi. Nothing is there for me. Who am I? I am that Advitiya Brahman. Then 23rd sloka it says, Na bhumi rapo na cha vanni rasti na chanilo me asti na chambaram cha evam vidhitva paramatma rupam guhashayam nishkalam advitiyam. It negates the entire Panchabhutas also. Na bhumi, na apa, na vanni, anilaha, ambaram, Panchabhutas negates the Upanishad in the next sloka. So when the Veda is talking about Srishti, that creation, what is it talking about? Who creates? The creator is me. I am Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi is the creator. Therefore, if you only read the Vedas out of context and only look at the creation process which is described, then naturally there will be confusion. Selective reading of the Vedas. That is what all other people do. They don't read the complete Vedas. They will pick up one or two mantras here and there and say, oh, this is Vedas is saying that. Because we should understand that the most important message of the entire Upanishads, and all the Upanishads, that is the Mahavakya. Mahavakyas in every Veda it is there, in Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Tharvana Veda. Mahavakyas are there in all the Upanishads belonging to these Vedas. That's why Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, Prajnanam Brahma. All these are all various in fact, hundreds of Mahavakyas are there in the Upanishads. What is a Mahavakya? Mahavakya is a statement in the Upanishad which equates Brahman and Jiva, which establishes the non-duality. So what we have to understand that the Vedas, including the Upanishads, etc., they have two types of sentences. One is what are called Avantara Vakyas, and other is called Mahavakyas. So the Avantara Vakyas, even though they are in the text, in the Vedic text, their purpose is to describe the process to attain to reach the final Mahavakya. Because suddenly, if you go and tell somebody that you are Brahman, nobody is going to trust you. Nobody is going to swallow that statement. So you need to explain how you are Brahman. So all these Avantara Vakyas which are there, which are very much part of the Vedas and Upanishads, they take the student through the process to reach the final message, which is the Mahavakyas. This process needs to be understood very well to understand all the other concepts, the Mithyatvam of the universe, Mithyatvam of the body, minds, complex, etc. So what we tell the non-Advaitins is, please go back and study your Vedas with a clear mind. Don't do this selective picking of mantras from here and there and try to, explain as if Vedas are talking about, the creation of the universe. They do talk about creation of the universe. We are not denying it. But that is not the end. That is not the final message of the Upanishads. So you must always bear in mind why certain things are stated. This is our answer. So when I say appearing, everything is an appearing, it means what? They all appear to exist, but on close observation, they disappear. Even science, the scientists first thought that there was a tangible world. And gradually, the tangible world became intangible atom. Then they said even the intangible atom is an appearance. In essence, it is energy. Then they went to not only energy as an entity, but energy fields. Thus, every previous understanding kept on disappearing. And that is why we call it Maya. Maya is an appearance. And that is why, magicians, their art or whatever they present, their performance is called, what? Maya Jal or Maya Jalam in Tamil. Why? Because they make so many things appear which is not real, but they appear. They will take out a rabbit out of a hat, they will have a kerchief, and they will just take it out and shake it, and it will become a bouquet of flowers. And children will be enamored. Wow, this magician produces all these things. In fact, they will cut a body into two. No blood will come out, of course, that's a different thing. And they will separate the two bodies and then later on join it together. Adults who know what is all this about, they may not know how the process works. What is it that the magician does to make all these things appear? But they know one thing, that they are all appearance only. That is not real. Cutting the body into two is not real. The magician is adopting some trick in order to make such things appear. And that is why the biggest magician of the universe is Maya. Makes the entire universe appear. And as Shankaracharya calls them Bala, ignorant people, childlike people, they will believe all this is real. Whereas Jnanis, they will know that these are all appearance only. Appearance like the dream world which I have created. I create the dream world, I experience the dream world, but I know that it is my creation. There is no dream world apart from me. Similarly, the Jnani knows there is no empirical world, this Vyavaharika Srishti or creation is not there apart from me. And that's why Upanishad said, Mayeva Sakalam Jatam. They will appear, they will keep on disappearing. So Shankaracharya says that even though Vedas talk about origination of the world, origination of the body, etc., it is only temporary for the sake of junior students. It is the Adhyaropam stage. That should not be taken as the final message of the Upanishads. And that is what is read in this sloka. ज्ञानेन अज्ञान कार्यस्य समूलस्य लयो यदि तिष्ठति अयम katham देहः इति. This is the question of the ignorant student up to deha. And that is why iti is added. Iti means thus. This is the question. Suppose a student asks the question, Jnanena ajnana karyasya layah. Hey Guru, you say that Jnanam destroys Ajnanam and its karyam, its products. Ajnana karyasya. Ajnana karyam, you should understand, Sanskrit students especially, Ajnanasya tat karyasya cha. So both Ajnanam and its karyam. So he says, Guru, you are saying ignorance and the product of ignorance will go, layaha, will disappear, go away. How? Jnanena, by jnanam. This is your consistent teaching. Jnanam will remove ignorance and the products of ignorance. Rope knowledge will remove rope ignorance and its product called snake, the rope snake. Rope knowledge will remove the rope snake. So this is the standard law of Advaitics. Ekam Satyam, everything else is Mithya. Advaitins stand by that. So Jnanam removes two things, Ajnanam and Ajnana Karyam. That means what? The student who is intelligent asks the question, once I become a Jnani, my ignorance is gone. Ajnanam goes away. Then all the products of Ajnanam should also go away according to you. What are the products of Ajnanam? Kartritvam, doership, that should go away. And doership to produce what? Sanchita Agami Prarabdha Karmas. So all the three karmas also are Ajnana Karyam. They should also go away. So according to you, Guru, Jnanam removes ignorance and products of ignorance. That means it removes Sanchitam Agami Prarabdha. And if Jnanam removes Prarabdham also, how can the body of a Jnani survive? Katam ayam deha tishtati. How can you then call a person a Jnani? Because if Prarabdham goes away, he will have no body. As long as he is a body, there is Prarabdham. So Jnanam and Prarabdham cannot coexist because Prarabdham is an Ajnana Karya. And the Vyapti is Yatra Jnanam Asti Tatra Prarabdham Nasyat. Because Prarabdham is the cause of Deha, is the product of ignorance. So, how do you explain the phenomenon of Jnanam and Prarabdham coexisting? How do you explain Jnanam and the body of a Jnani coexisting? How do you explain all these things? It's a very legitimate question and a very tough question which an Advaitin encounters. Therefore, he says, Yadi, if Jnanena Samulasya Ajnana Karyasya Layaha. Here, Ajnana Karyam, we can just take only restrict ourselves to Prarabdha. Because that is the topic of discussion. Whether Jnani has got Prarabdham or not, that is the whole topic of discussion. So, Yadi Ajnanam and Prarabdham Layaha, if both of them are resolved, then logically, I am Deha na tishtati or Katham tishtati. How does this body exist? And it's a rhetorical question, means the body cannot exist. So now what happens? Shruti has to temporarily go along with the Ajnani because the Ajnani is asking the question, how does the body exist? Because he thinks that the body is existing. Ajnani's belief is this body is real and existing. But from Jnani's angle, the existence has been removed. Therefore, Jnani will say after Jnanam, Sanchita doesn't exist, Agami doesn't exist, Prarabdham doesn't exist. Body also doesn't exist because Jnanam has removed the existence of everything else except Brahman, Atma. But the Ajnani doesn't know that. Therefore, Ajnani attributes existence to the body and asks the question, how does the Jnani's body continue to exist? Iti Shankavatah Jadan, he says. Here, Shankavatah, doubt, the doubting Thomases. Jadan here means ignorant people. So, when the ignorant raises such a doubt or such a question, this question will be there in the minds of ignorant people, in the minds of ignorant students also, if they have not got the message of Vedanta. So, iti shankavatah jadan. Here, jadan means manda janan, ajnana janan, ignorant people. So, jada means ignorance. So, the ignorant people ask, how does the jnani's body exist after jnanam? For that, he says, samadhatum bahya drishtya. Samadhatum, to answer them, to satisfy them for the present, for the moment. Shruti goes along with them. What is the mistake they are committing? They are asking, aham deha katham tishtati. How does the jnani's body exist after jnanam? Here, tishtati means exist. Our answer should be, once you become a jnani, you will never accept the existence of the body. You will say the body is also just appearing to exist. And since the Ajnani doesn't understand that, Shruti temporarily accepts the Jnani's existence of the Jnani's body. And here Shruti gets into a problem. Once Shruti accepts the existence of the body, Shruti will have to accept the existence of Prarabdham also to explain how this particular body is formed. Otherwise, how will Shruti explain different bodies, male body, female body, even within the one class of bodies, different shapes, different sizes. Some bodies are born with congenital diseases, some are healthy body. How will the Shruti will explain? So it brings in Prarabdha. And once Shruti accepts the existence of Prarabdham, Shruti has to say, Jnanam doesn't destroy Prarabdham. Because there is a Shruti talks about Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti is getting moksha while living. So the Jnani's body continues to exist. In order to justify that, it has to say that Jnanam destroys Sanchita and Agami, no problem. But it does not destroy Prarabdham, Shruti has to say. But it says once you become a Jnani, you will say that Jnanam removes the existence of Prarabdham also. But the question is, how many are going to become Jnani? I mean, if you are very lucky, after a million people, one person may become a Jnani. So Shruti has to come and say, Prarabdham appears, but it is non-existent. And that is how the Shruti has to travel in order to finally come to the conclusion that there is nothing called Prarabdham. So when I say Prarabdham is, the body is, etc., the easiness I give them is like the easiness of the dream world. So samadhatum bahya drishtya. Samadhatum, to answer the ignorant people who think body and prarabdha are existent. Bahya drishtya means laukika drishtya, from the worldly angle. Prarabdham vadati shrutihi. Shruti says prarabdham continues to exist. Thus adhyaropa kale, we say jnani has prarabdham. This is meant only for the junior students who are in the path of becoming senior students. We say Jnani has prarabdham. So this is adhyaropa kala. Remember we talked about adhyaropa apavada in the previous class. So when the senior students, when the student graduates to a senior level, he comes into apavada kale. There we say Jnani does not have prarabdham. Therefore, if you understand Jnani doesn't have prarabdham, you are a senior student. So now you can check yourself whether you are a senior or a junior student. When I say Jnani doesn't have prarabdham, if you are able to appreciate that and understand that, you are a senior student. Your intellect must accept, not just Jnani doesn't have any prarabdham. Your intellect should be able to accept, I don't have prarabdham. That is the culmination of the teaching. And therefore, Shrutihi prarabdham vadati for a junior student, and that is the reply. And there is one more very practical reason why Shruti accepts prarabdham. As I said, how many people become jnanis? They gain jnanam. Maybe 1 in a million. That itself is a very, I would call it a very liberal number I am giving. Maybe 1 in 10 million. So almost 99.9% of the people in the world are ajnanis, and they are in the clutches of samsara, both intellectual samsara and emotional samsara. They have both pleasant and unpleasant experiences. When they have pleasant experiences, they are happy, and they never question why they are having such happy experiences, isn't it? In fact, we want more of those happy experiences. But when misery or grief befalls on them, then scores of questions are raised. Why am I suffering? Why is God unkind to me? I have not done anything wrong in my life. Still, I am suffering. I see that people who are selfish, who are wicked, who indulge in all adharmic activities are leading a good and comfortable life. And you say I should follow a dharmic life as ordained by the Shruti. But they are all adharmic people, they are enjoying, and I am suffering. Why me? Such questions continuously haunt people to the extent that they end up either losing faith in God and losing faith in the Vedas, or worse still, they get depressed and even go to the extreme of ending their life to put an end to the suffering and depression. Such people will find no peace till the questions are answered satisfactorily. Human mind is an inquiring mind, a curious mind, a mind with a well developed intellect, and it will continue to be in turmoil, to be tormented till such questions are answered. Therefore, Shruti, with its motherly approach, provides an answer, temporary answer, and says that all the miseries and sufferings are a result of your own actions in the past janmas, of which you have no recollection. Those actions bear fruits, and the fruits of those actions you are now experiencing in this janma. Fruits of some of those actions. So Shruti brings in the law of karma, or sanchita karma, agami karma, because once it talks about an actions of the past, it has to necessarily bring in everything. Shruti has to convince you that that theory is correct, isn't it? So the law of karma is brought in, sufferings and unpleasant experiences are explained as prarabdham. The message Shruti gives is, don't blame anyone, including God, for your suffering. So Shruti does a very, very clever thing. While pointing a finger at you for all your sufferings, but it says it is not you in this Janma, it's a distant you, whom you have never seen, whom you do not know. You have no recollection of that you. It is somebody, even though it is you, the Jiva, in some other body, in some other circumstances, you might have done all these things. That is now bearing fruits. So when Shruti comes and tells us, we say, oh, okay, okay, I understand now. Because that somebody who has done, it's not me. Where we always identify ourselves with this body, mind, sense complex which we have in this Janma. In the past Janma, whatever we are not bothered about it. And by that, Shruti also is promoting good behavior in us. He says, in the past Janma, you did all wrong things, so now you are suffering. Now, in this Janma, you have an opportunity to do all the right things, dharmic activities, so that in future Janma, you don't suffer. So, Shruti subtly gives this also. It is just like, many times we have to give children, especially, certain answers which are not correct, which are not true. But for children, at their level of mental development, we have to give an answer which appears true to them. Later on, they will learn that what the answer was given to me was wrong. I was fooled. They will later on think that. I mean, for example, I don't know how many of you have experienced it. I have experienced it. Many people have experienced it. Normally, child, 3, 4 years old child will ask one question to the parents: how have I come? How was I born? Now, at that age, the parents cannot tell the, the process of creation of children. In fact, in my own case, I asked that question to my father when I was probably 3 or 4 years old. Don't remember. So my father told me there is something called, because we were in Delhi at that time, and in the North India, they have got these mandis. Mandis are wholesale markets for a specific commodity. For example, there will be a rice mandi, there will be a wheat mandi. There you go, you will get all types of wheat, different qualities, and similarly rice also, different types of rice, and only that you will get, nothing else you will get. So we have rice mandi, chawal mandi, and gehu mandi and all. So my father told me, see, there is something called bacha mandi. So me and Amma, we went and we selected you. We bought you from that bacha mandi. And that is how you are. So we were, on seeing you itself, we had so much of love for you that we brought you home to be with us. Now that is a very wonderful answer which will satisfy the child. Oh, I have come from bacha mandi. Then I asked whether my brother also is the same bacha mandi. They said, yes, yes. We brought the brother also from bacha mandi. We are only two sons. There was no more, old family is coming from bacha mandi. So this was the answer which was given to me. Now, when I grew up, when I become an adult, I know that my father has told me a totally false, misleading. There is nothing called bacha mandi. I can't go on searching where is bacha mandi, where they hand out to children, isn't it? But will I be unhappy with my father because he has lied to me? Will I curse him? Oh, you have just brought me with all sorts of falsehoods. No. Because once I know the truth, I will say my father did the right thing. At that age, if he has explained all these things to me, I wouldn't have understood anything. Maybe in the modern generation, they know more than what we knew at that age. But for me, there is no remorse. There is no. I don't hate my father for that. So similarly, Shruti also knows that once you become a jnani, once you understand, once you mature, once you become a senior student, you will not have any grouse against Shruti or Shruti's this temporary acceptance of prarabdham, etc. But till such time that works for you, you will be having peace of mind when you know all my sufferings are because of my prarabdha. And for everybody. And then Shruti will come up with Vyashti Prarabdham, Samashti Prarabdham. Because honestly speaking, from a Jnani's point of view, everything is an appearance. You cannot explain the appearance. As I was telling in the last class, and I think yesterday's Bhagavad Gita class only, answering a question of a student during satsang. You cannot go sit in a movie theater, watch a movie, and try to logically analyze the movie. You cannot say the movie will start with the hero being a small child, then he grows up, then he becomes an old man also within a period of 2.5, 3 hours. You cannot logically say, oh, this movie is all nonsense. How can anyone grow from a child to an old man within 3 hours? Do you ask question that? Because while watching the movie, it's all appearance. Appearances will have no logical explanation. You cannot reduce them to any logic. Magic show, you say, can you find a logic how the magician takes out a rabbit from the hat? No logical explanation. And therefore, this is the approach. And this is a very parental approach, very motherly approach. That is why we call Shruti Mata, full of compassion. Shruti does not want the human beings to suffer, to be in grief. Because the nature of Brahman is what? Ananda. Shruti knows that every jiva within inverted comma, Brahman's nature is Sat Chit Ananda. Ananda is a part, your nature is Ananda, happiness. And this suffering and this grief is sitting on it unnecessarily. So Shruti tries to satisfy you temporarily. Okay, by this explanation, you will be satisfied and the suffering will reduce. You will accept the situation. So the next question is, okay, I accept that I am responsible for my sufferings due to my actions in the past life. But I am asking Shruti, can I do something in this life to lessen the suffering or escape it altogether? So the Shruti comes up again, compassionate Shruti, with the concept of prayaschitta karmas. He says, yes, I mean, once you have realized this, you do these prayaschittas. 1,000 people you do annadana. Some of these past karmas will be reduced. Go to this temple, do a abhishekam, it will be reduced. And when Shruti gives these prayaschitta karmas, provides further satisfaction to the ignorant people. And Shruti very well knows. Once a person has become a jnani, all these will become irrelevant. Because for a jnani, even Shruti is mithya. When we say the whole creation is mithya, Shruti is also mithya. Brahman eva satyam. For the jnani knows that. Therefore, because of these reasons, Shruti accepts the creation, sustenance, dissolution, the cyclical process of creation, the law of karma, prarabdha karma, etc., 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 for the sake, for the benefit of the vast majority of ignorant people, and also which consists of junior students. And with this, the topic of Jnana Phalam of Videha Mukti is over. If you remember, all this started from the explanation of Videha Mukti. Because when you talk about Videha Mukti, Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti, all these questions are natural. In an inquisitive mind, a curious mind, they will ask all these questions. Therefore, from a worldly angle, there is Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti because Jnani has got a body for some time after Jnana. When a Jnani has a body, he is called Jivan Mukta. When the body goes away later, at the end of Prarabdha, he becomes Videha Mukta. So, worldly people talk about two stages of a Jnani. A Jivan Mukta Jnani is an embodied Jnani. A Videha Mukta, he becomes unembodied. So now Jivan Mukta, later he will become Videha Mukta. So this is all the explanation given to a junior student. For seniors, the answer is, I don't have a prarabdham, I don't have a body at any time. Once I gain jnanam, I realize that I am Nitya Videha Mukta, that I am the unembodied consciousness. All this Sadeha Mukti, Videha Mukti are all only for others, ignorant people. I am Nitya Videha Mukta. But since a senior student alone can understand, we come down to the majority, to the level of the majority of junior students and temporarily accept, yes, now Jnani is Jivan Mukta, later he will become Videha Mukta. So this division, Jivan Mukti, Videha Mukti and all are for junior students, not for senior students. And that is why, Vedanta is very confusing. Vedanta has got two stages. One for junior students and another a subtler one for senior students. And therefore, only when we study Vedanta, sometimes it appears contradictory. In fact, for many students initially, Vedanta appears to be full of contradictions. Because the Guru has got two versions for everything. One time he will say something, later he himself will contradict it. He will say world originates, later he will say world does not originate. So he will first take one position, then later on he himself will negate that position. Not just modify or anything. He will totally say the directly opposite thing. And therefore Vedanta is full of paradoxes, contradictions. And we find so many examples. Mundaka Upanishad, talking about Brahman, it says, Durat Sudhure Tadihantikecha. Tad iha antikecha. Durat Sudhure, Brahman is very far away. Iha antikecha, Brahman is very close by. Total contradiction. You say either say one thing, either it is far away or close by. You don't say both the things. Shruti says both the things in the same sentence. Then there are another example, Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan. Brahman is smaller than the smallest and bigger than the biggest. How can something which is smaller than the smallest itself is a superlative degree expression? Then you go say smaller than the smallest. What is the fourth degree? Superlative degree. And then you say bigger than the biggest. How can you say such things? So everything in Vedanta we come across is contradictory. But you are uncomfortable with the contradictions, that itself indicates you have got the message of Vedanta. The Guru has to initially struggle a lot to get this message across. Shishya will go through intellectual turbulence. In fact, many people drop out of Vedanta only because of this. They are unable to appreciate the methodology Vedanta adopts in order to come to the ultimate truth. Such students may even get angry with the Guru. What is he saying? Even they may even counter the Guru. Guru may have to apologize sometimes. He will have to say, I have no other way. I have got only one methodology with me, Adhyaropa Apavadabhyam. So you please have patience. You please go through this. Let all the contradictions be in your mind. Save them for clarification later. If you have trust in me, believe me, eventually you will realize what all Vedanta says, Upanishad says is all true. There is a reason why all these things are being said. So he has to tackle the junior students in this manner. So with this, the Jivan Mukti, Videha Mukti topics are over. Whole Vedanta teaching is over. Now Shankaracharya condenses that, all this teaching, in this one verse, verse number 101. Vedanta Siddhanta Niruktiresha Brahmaiva Jiva Sakalam Jagaccha Akhanta Rupa Stitireva Moksha Brahmadvitiye Sutaya Pramanam. The Anvaya of this is Jiva Sakalam Jagatcha Brahma Eva Akhanda Rupa Stitihi Eva Moksha Esha Vedanta Siddhanta Niruktihi Shrutaya Brahmadvitiye Pramanam. So Jiva, the Jiva, Sakalam, entire, Jagat, the world, Cha, and Brahman Eva, Brahman only. Akanta Rupa Stitihi, the staying in the knowledge of the partless nature of Brahman, non-dual Brahman, Eva, alone. Moksha is liberation. Esha, this is Vedanta Siddhanta Niruktihi, the statement in brief of the conclusion of Vedanta. Shrutaya, all the Shrutis, all Upanishads, Brahma Advitiye, with reference to the non-dual Brahman, Pramanam or Pramana, the means of knowledge. So the Jiva as well as the entire world, all Brahman alone. Staying in the knowledge of that partless nature of Brahman alone is moksha, liberation. Thus, this is in brief the conclusion of Vedanta. Esha, the following three quarters. Esha refers to three quarters of this sloka. What are the three quarters? From Brahmaiva to Pramana. So the Vedanta, Siddhanta, Nirukti Resha quarter you remove. Balance of the sloka, three quarters of the sloka are referred to here by Esha. Esha means the following is Vedanta, Siddhanta, Niruktihi, the essence, the condensed capsule form of Vedanta Siddhanta, the central teaching of Vedanta, or you can say the Vedantic message. So Niruktihi means the essence, the capsule, Sarah, Vedanta Siddhanta Sarah. And what is the essence of the Vedantic message? Brahma Eva. One non-dual, indivisible Brahman alone. Through Maya appears as threefold, trifurcates itself. In what form? Jivaha Sakalam Jagat Cha. Jivaha, Brahman alone appears as Jivaha. Paramarthikam Brahma, the absolute Brahma at the Vyavaharika level, empirical level appears as Jiva with threefold bodies, Stula, Sukshma, Karana, Sharira. So, through Sharira Traya Upadhi, Brahman appears as Jiva. Jagat, the same Brahman alone appears as the Nama Rupa Prapancha with infinite varieties. And Cha here means Ishvara. So the same Brahman appears as Ishvara also with Maya Upadhi, with the power to create the world and the body with its Maya Shakti. Therefore, one Brahman through Maya appears as Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, Bhavaha with three different Upadhis. And all these three are divisions with an appearance. Brahman alone is the truth. The plurality or triad nature is just an appearance. More we will see in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Dhanyavada hai. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Thank you, Guruji. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaskaram. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Today Hariji is missing. He has some guests at home. So he sent a message he will not attend the class. So he is not there to opening batsman for questions. So any other questions are there, please go ahead.
I missed the last two classes, so I missed the thread.
Okay. So
From
pick,
20.
pick up the thread because today's class is very important to understand.
No, good. Could make it. Next week also I might miss it. Next week I'll attend. Bhagavad Gita I might miss. From first onwards I'll be back to
Okay.
the routine. My daughter will leave on Saturday night.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. So if there are no questions, we can close the session.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Hari Om. Thank you all.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you.